Being doing mission against corporation labeled as CABAL. It's really hard for me when I see people getting injured, all right, or confused by specific individuals portraying as truthers, but they may steal, all right, content from other people. They may steal real experiences from other people, all right. They may twist information and simply put nonsense or confusions, all right, into their narrative. This is a thing that needs to be addressed. Now I'm going to mute. Gene has 10 pages, all right, on that topic to share. So, Gene, you may go.
Yes, thank you. So, Taino came to me with the importance of integrity and righteousness, helping and assisting humanity, versus the malevolent energy through individuals that confuse and injure sincere, compassionate people. I've had many people out there that follow me, and then I have people that attack me and cherry pick information where they take something out of context. Like the Vatican gold, that all of it was brought back to the U.S. I said the people's gold. I was talking about the United States, the people's gold. So I'm talking about gold of the peoples of the United States, not all the gold. So, and then a interview in which I said they left Afghanistan at that, that Taliban had taken control. Before we left Afghanistan, there had been no deaths, but we were supposed to leave on a certain date, and it was 2 different interviews, and then they mixed the interviews up, so people get mixed up and gaslit this way. So I wanted to, I'm not going to call the people doing these things out. It's not what I do. That's my personal choice. So in this document, I feel it's one of the most important things I've written. I did this all last night. It felt to me God wanted me to do this, and it came mostly from God. So thank you, God. The importance of integrity and righteousness in helping and assisting humanity versus the malevolent energy through individuals that confuse and injure sincere, compassionate people. It's all about choice. Choice. The choices one makes either adds to one's luminous energy or darkens it. Compassionate choices and actions add luminosity to the soul. Vicious, mean actions darken it. The integrity, truth of the individual adds to the strength of the soul, and that then enables a person to increase their choices that add to their luminous magnetic field of their soul. Thus, the soul becomes the stone of the philosopher, and in its wisdom allows a person's inner light to not enable them to be a victim. In other words, it enables them to no longer be a victim of circumstances, but to control their destiny. Thus, the person transmutes. Choice by choice, they transmute to a higher density, to ascension. This then transmutes the physical and all other bodies of the person. And I've talked about the different bodies, the physical body, the mental body, the astral body, etc. The person is rebuilding their eternal self that has fallen here to earth. Every small victory of the compassionate, unselfish individual is thus a step back to the eternal. A soul advancing thus picks up a golden, luminous quality. It is this golden, luminous quality that is depicted in so many ancient paintings for thousands of years. You can see paintings with halos around the head and the entire body in gold. This is the luminosity of the soul that is being compassion and service to others. One cannot enter heaven in the physical body alone. All the bodies must be purified to the purity of service in compassion and humility. To accomplish this, one must break free from the desires of the shadow. That is one of service to self-glorification, power, or revenge over others, of coveting, owning, possessing, controlling others. The only thing one can really control are their own choices, which are either good or evil. The eyes of the soul are latent until one develops integrity of their person, their life. The shadow dictates one's appetites. The eyes of the mind only see the shadow, what one sees in a mirror. The shadow dictates one's appetites, demands their attention, dictates their ambitions. It is the shadow that exudes the power of the darkness. It only has the power that the individual chooses to give it through their choices and actions. As a person makes good choices, the soul gains luminosity. The person gains moral qualities of life. The eyes of the soul begin to see the colors of good and evil. Such a person in this path is attracted to wisdom, not to the fancies and narratives of the day and the seasons of the hour. Thus the soul achieves victory over the shadow and expunges it from the other bodies, and the person begins the process of ascension, the victory of reality over illusion, over the illusion, over the matrix of lies that serve the shadow. The matrix is the world of illusions, that of the habits, the institutions, the grip of the shadow entertainments, educations. All of these are the obscuration of ignorance, part of the individual's field. A person living and perpetuating the negative field is distracted, and little by little their negative factors destroy a person, thus serving it. The person's actual luminosity becomes impoverished. It becomes dull and dismal until all that is left is the shadow. Thus a person becomes more and more vicious until eventually they lose the soul and all they are. They become but a servant of the darkness. To avoid this, at some point, a person must shift from negative to positive. A movement on the part of the individual to get their own inner light in order, to realize there is no escape from the consequences of their own misdeeds. A person cannot escape the terrors of their own conduct. The person must change to survive, or they become a sellout. This is the source of constant divorce, drug usage, alcoholism, and all manner of addictions, of spouse abuse, of child abuse. Such a person eventually turns on all those that help them, all their friends, all their family, and on all life itself. Their life becomes a nightmare. The earth herself is damaged by those in this fall. As their decreasing luminosity drains her, she becomes ill. Earthquakes, droughts, catastrophes, even when man-made, occur. A healthy planet would not be affected. Thus, each person's personal integrity is not just paramount to their own survival, but as a collective, it is paramount to the planet as a whole. Those that have realized the growing shadow are striving and studying, and so are beginning to realize the change must come from within. The change must be made within ourselves. Many are now doing so. Thus, a new timeline has come into being. This is the one of the coming of integrity, righteousness, compassion, and service to others. Those that are not realizing or choosing, or even denying this truth, and continuing to assault, blame, and attack everyone for what is actually of their own choosing, are now falling to a timeline that offers but a short retribution amongst utter chaos, war, famine, and disease. In other words, the Armageddon line. It is quite literally the separation of the wheat for the chaff. And typo error. It was 4 o'clock in the morning by the time I got here. So wheat from the chaff, sorry. And so this is literally God's timeline, and the Armageddon line is a separation of the wheat from the chaff. No matter how many mistakes, evil, and cruelty those on the path choose, we on that path of the shadow, in other words, we do not have to do the same. No one has to do the same just because all the masses are doing it. You have choice. It is the time of the great harvest. It is better to celebrate the good things than to suffer all the wrong that is to come for those that choose the way of the shadow. The earth herself will be reformed and healed by those that choose goodness, kindness, compassion. In other words, service to others. Everything begins within. All truth and such service is eternal. That which is false, cruel, vindictive, or evil cannot prevail or survive. And this reminds me of Gandhi, who said, think of it. There have been tyrants, there has been evil, civilizations and empires, and in the end, they always fall. Think of it, always. The choice is up to each individual to choose over self-centeredness and vindictiveness, to choose kindness, compassion, truth, respect for others, service to others. The choice is simple. Choose the divinity within you. Person by person, illuminating their soul will heal and transmute the earth and all creation. It all begins with each one of us to choose to have personal integrity and only judging ourselves and not others, to transcend the errors of our own histories and those of our times. Live the light of the divine within, not the darkness. When emotions are false, one takes. One truly serves the darkness. To avoid this, at some point, a person must shift from negative to positive, a movement on the part of the individual to get their own inner light in order, as I have said, to realize there is no way to escape the consequences of their own misdeeds. A person cannot escape the terrors of their own conduct. Such a person serves the shadow, serves the darkness. Choose to grow with the divine light and join the great awakening. The luminous soul really is filled with the light of the divine. When we really and truly love, we serve others. When we truly love, we give and join the eternal divine, the infinite time, the infinite truth, the infinite manifestation, the infinite future, without suffering of children, poor health, poor morality. All things are eternal and safe when love makes the rules. All things become the divine, luminous soul of the eternal. Thank you. God bless.